Okay, great.
Sure.
Thank you for being patient. So, welcome everyone to the slightly delayed first ever Bassoon Zone live stream. Today's guest is Andrew Brady. He is the principal bassoon of the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, and he's been there for over 4 years now, I think.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, Andrew studied at the Colburn School, and then after that he played with the Louisiana Symphony.
Louisiana Philharmonic.
Philharmonic, sorry. And then now he is at Atlanta. And then Jordan, who is going to be playing for us, he actually goes to the Colburn School as well. So, a brief introduction. And as you can tell, our stream is sponsored by Barton Kane. I'm wearing the shirt.
Woo, go Brady.
Um, yeah, so David and Julie, thank you so much for your generosity. Um, 6 people, great. Cool, so we will get started um, with playing. So I'm going to play uh, Jordan's recording for everyone to
Will we
hear.
be starting with Milde or the Bassoon?
Which do you prefer? Is there?
Um, can we start with the Jancourt?
Yes, of
Or sorry,
course,
sorry, sorry, no, the Milde.
of course. Okay.
Forgive me.
Um, okay. I will get that started as soon as I can. Okay. That is started. There's the music. No, I was just checking too. Great. Okay, so the Milde has been played for everyone. So yeah, I will leave you two to work on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so there are a lot of great things going on, and actually, I got to hear both the Milde and the Jancourt earlier this afternoon and give it a listen through a couple times. And I think there's kind of a overarching theme, I guess, that I want to focus on. And I think tone is good. Um, Intonation, for the most part, is pretty good. I think what I would like to hear more of is a solid sense of rhythm and when the note or when the line changes. It felt like sometimes harmony changes or entrances or moving off of long notes weren't prepared so well. More so in the Jancourt than the Milde, obviously. Not many long notes in the Milde. But there's also things in the Milde that I think can help delineate where the beat is, where the pulse is. Um, right away when you started, um, it sounded like the A, the first note was on the downbeat. So instead of da 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 dee dee dee, he had da 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 to my ear. So I think we can find a way of making sure that with this awkward rhythm and coming in on the second 16th of the 2/4, we can still find a way to make it have gravity and pull toward the bigger beat. So the way I would do that, I would actually crescendo downward, and on that A in the middle of the bar, I would lead down to that A, and I wouldn't cut the length of it. I noticed in your version, you kind of clipped all of the resolution notes on the big beats. But those are the notes that we want to get to. And if you look at just the basic structure, we have an arpeggio, A, C sharp, D, A, and we want to highlight that. So I would lengthen those notes, and I would feel the gravity leading down to them. So that you have that sense of weight in the middle and the beginnings of bars. And that way I feel like the ear more easily hears that, oh, we're not starting right on the first 16. We're actually leading to the middle of the bar in the first bar. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And that was kind of pervasive throughout the whole etude. And I think, too, finding the moments to use agogic accents to also, again, stress the important harmonies and where the line is leading. So, for instance, in the next phrase, you did something sort of like... So, you kind of stress both that lower D sharp and the E. And I think maybe just one. Because we really want to get down to the C sharp. That's where we're leading. So... To me, that makes a more cohesive line. And you have we're starting here. Here's the journey, and there's not so much of a hiccup getting there. Do you want to try that? I see you have your bassoon out. Yeah, so I hear it. I think now it's splitting the difference. So for the first phrase, for instance, you don't really need the agogic on every resolution. I think perhaps just the first one the most. So then it's the ear hears it, and then once, the thing of music is for the ear, not for the eye, and the brain is set up to find patterns. So I think once you've established the pattern, you don't have to really hammer it home. We've already got it. So kind of temper what you just did. Maybe do about 20% less.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice. And it didn't feel like anything was kind of pulled too much. Yeah, I thought that was great. Can you keep going?
Yeah.
Sorry, I talked. Keep going. Yeah, good. So here we have these smaller half bar phrases, followed by a longer. So I would try to highlight the short, short, long. Especially, I think that comes from the second bar, making it one long thing, even though there's an articulation in the middle of the bar, still to feel like it's one long phrase. Try it from the forte, the third bar, the E. Very good, very good. So for me, Milde, it's not just a technical thing. It's about finding the harmony, and your phrase decisions are influenced by the harmony, and that's what makes it so valuable to relate it to everything else that we play. Um, so just one other thing that I noticed while I was listening, actually two other things. I did notice maybe we have a different edition of the Mildes, but sometimes at the ends of phrases you would tongue the resolution note, and it wasn't consistent. Sometimes you would and sometimes you wouldn't. I don't know if it's an edition thing or just a kind of not as aware, but that is something to think about. I've been on audition panels. Obviously, people aren't playing Milde for auditions, but for excerpts, especially for people who don't play bassoon, they will definitely be drawn to that if they hear an articulation where there's not one, or vice versa. So I would just try to be really careful about that. And then second thing, do you circular breathe?
Sometimes. I did at the end.
Yeah, I thought I heard it. Because that made me wonder why you didn't use it more in the Jancourt. But because there's nowhere to breathe in it. Sorry?
I was just too scared to use it in the Jancourt.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a long song, so they say. But yeah, did you have any questions about the Milde before we move on to Jancourt?
Not that I can think of now.
Okay. Let us go ahead and listen to the Jancourt.
Great. So I will now play the Jancourt for everyone. Give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. Great.
Great. Again, lots of really nice things happening, especially, I know this was kind of last minute. There was another person that was supposed to submit recordings, so the fact that you worked that up in enough time, bravo. So still, I want to focus on the perception of where big beats are and where the line is leading. There are some very nice things in the opening andante section. I feel like we can augment, and I think perhaps this is 12/8. I feel like sometimes you get too bogged down into the eighth notes,
Yeah.
and I want more of the arcing, bar line. For instance, you had a very nice opening. I could tell when you were about to move. I heard a spin in the sound on the D before you did the turn. I heard that. That was really nice. But then when we got here, it felt kind of bogged down. So lead more to the E. More of the big swinging gestures. And then also the third line, again, I felt too much of each note, eighth note. Sorry, that's tenor clef. Something more flowing,
Yeah.
more sinuous. Can you play this from the beginning? With
Yeah.
those things in mind? Good, good. Just a couple small things. I don't know if the mic is kind of over exaggerating the dynamic, but could be a little softer perhaps. I know when I demonstrated, I was not observing the piano so well either. But so dynamic, and then also the and can they belong a little bit more to each other, especially the E and the F sharp. I feel like it kind of gets up to the E, and then we wait to come down. Sorry?
I said okay.
Oh, okay. The delay, it's like you say something right as I'm about to say something else. One more time from the beginning, and you can stop after the fourth bar.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Because that interval, the falling interval, first with the minor second, and then the seventh, that's the kind of thematic material. So you're doing it well on the first time, and then the second one was having a little halt. But that was great. Let's move on to halfway down the page where we have all these 16ths going on. So I felt like it immediately shifted character. And I don't know that I really think it should. I felt your staccatos were quite short, and the whole thing kind of took on more of a punchy character, I guess, and it just felt like a departure from what we had established. Um, and I think it should feel more like the Andante rather than the upcoming Allegro Brillante. So if you could play that section lighter on the tongue, longer on the staccatos, not quite so short. And then also with this weird articulation, the slur on the 16th into the first, and the second into the third, on all those weird notes. I feel like you could find a way to still bring out the pulse yet again. To the, it sounded like you were bringing out all the notes on like 2, 4, 6 rather than 1, 3, 5. So if you could find a way to get to the beat rather than have the articulation stop you or interfere. I'm going to stop you. It sounds like you're clipping the note that's slurred into, which in a lot of cases is the note that we want to get to. So you're not giving the main beat the full value and sounding time that it needs to establish this is where we are. So like, for instance, the E on the second beat of that bar and the B on the fourth beat, fourth big beat. I feel like they're just getting undercut a little bit. They need a little bit more sounding time. Once more. good thing is it's really consistent. But for me, it's still my intention of having you play it slowly was that you would listen more to the harmony and hear the sustain that I want you to go for. Because again, I still feel like it should match the Andante character, and I feel like the lengths of the articulations that you're doing are making it seem a little bit too heavy. This is E minor, kind of angsty, dark. I feel like it can have more weight, and I think adding length to the articulations can help with that. Can you do it slowly one more time? Forget the staccatos. Still do the written slurs, but forget the staccatos for now, and just listen to the harmony. Can you totally forget the staccatos and imagine that it's tenuto? So. Good. Can you do that a little bit faster? Good, good. So that's pretty close to the tempo that we were at. It's a little bit slower. So now can you lighten up the articulation just a little bit? Not much at all. It just needs a little bit of space, but still keep that feeling of weight.
Okay.
Good, good. And so can we do that at tempo now? Just want to remind you one thing. That A is getting cut off a little bit. It's getting a little bit clipped. Keep it long. Good, good. I think that really changes the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it matches more what we've established before, and it feels like it's more grounded to me. So skipping ahead, I won't make you do the trills, partially because I don't want to demonstrate them because I haven't practiced them. But once we get to the accelerando bar, so you took the breath. Took the breath there, which I would do, but when you came back in, I didn't know where the beat was. It sounded like the D, the upper D, was where we were starting. Or sorry, rather, it sounded like the beat was displaced. So can you lead to the C sharp on the second beat? And do a slight agachic accent on the C sharp so that we know this is where the beat is. Start on the E bar before the accelerando. Good, good. That was very good. I could tell, and I think you can still take more, in the recording you took more time with the breath. I think you can still do that. Just make sure to, once you come back in, let us know where the beats are. So that was better. Now, where we just stopped in the recording, again, I think you were letting the articulation, the slur on the weird parts of the beat, I think you were letting that get in the way of the pulse. So it sounded like the notes that were tongued were the important ones, but it's the opposite. So I would give a little bit of burst of air on the notes that are slurred into. Try to exaggerate it this time, just so it kind of sinks in and the ear hears it, and then we can taper it off. But start right on that last line. Play it once for me, just eighth notes. And still the shape that you were doing. Good. Add everything else back now. Yeah, that makes more sense to my ear. Okay, good. Any questions about that? Okay. I think let's see. Yeah, so this section, the Allegro, and again, I know you didn't have quite as much time as normally one would have to work up an etude, especially one of this length. But I think that the faster notes there could be a better job done of making them part of the melody rather than getting from long note to long note, making them actually part of the line. And that was especially evident. Well, once we get all these accidentals. Around there. Can you start the Allegro Brillante? I still feel like the 16ths are rushing. It feels like they're a little bit too compressed. Can you start right on 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth bar where the F sharp comes back?
Yeah.
Good. That was much better. Did it feel different?
Yeah, definitely. It feels more just connected, not rushed.
Yeah, and it just feels grounded, which we can also apply to the next Allegro coming up. But before we do that, so this one of my big things is just letting harmony influence my phrasing decisions. Probably because I love Baroque music so much, and harmony is everything. So where I just stopped you, I think we could do a better job of bringing out where the line is going with the harmony, because we have all these weird accidentals. I mean, we're in D major, and then this cadence is to B flat major. So I think we can highlight how we get there. So play it slowly, starting from See where I'm starting?
Yeah.
Okay. And really listen to where the harmony is taking you. Yeah, so here we go from the D major to D minor, which becomes F, which becomes F7, which then is 5 to the B flat. So I really want to hear that and not just, oh, we have a bunch of notes with accidental string and, oh, we're in B flat major. So really dig into those harmonies, lead to where they show you. So can you do that starting, let's see, at the beginning of the line? So. Yeah. So then it's a journey, not just a string of notes. Yeah?
Yeah, it makes much more sense now.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So then, and then the other place I was going to tell you to apply that was a couple lines down from that, where we have the. And we get all that G minor goodness. Can you start? Start on. See where that is? The D. Good, good. So where I was, I didn't quite make it there when I was talking about it, but where I want you to lead is that C sharp. So we have the. That's juicy. I would really lead to that, even if you don't have a huge adagic accent over it, but just to really show this is getting dramatic. G minor, heavy stuff. Start the G after the trill, the F sharp trill. Good. I don't know if it was the feed or something that you actually did, but it actually seemed like you went faster towards the C sharp. Was that the feed, or was that something that you did? Sorry?
I balance it.
You slowed down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it came through as you, rushed. So I've been getting, so far on this video, I've been getting kind of delays, and then it kind of rushes ahead sometimes. But okay, so no need to talk about that then. So this last page, this last allegro, it felt very much in 4, and it was too fast. Not just for my taste, but for what was written on the page. It was somewhere around 142, 144. I think it needs to have a sense of ease. We've had all this G minor angst drama. Now we have the melody that we had at the very beginning, and it's been through all these transformations, all the strife. Now it's just easy, simple, light. But in your rendition, it sounded a little bit frantic, and I think tempo was part of that. And then also, it just felt too beat by beat. So I think if we make longer, more arching lines, that'll help give it a sense of poise. So let's see, what is 1-3-2? Can you try it around that tempo? Yeah, that feels more settled. So the only thing is there's this question of, these 4 lines in the middle of the page where it's just sequence after sequence after sequence. Not great writing, but we still have to figure out what to do with it. And that for me is where it started to get a little bit too beat by beat. I think if you think longer, like half bars, that'll give you more room to do something either with motion or with dynamic. There aren't really throughout this whole etude. There aren't really any crescendos. I think that's an editing thing. I don't think that there just shouldn't be crescendos. So I think you can make some educated decisions on maybe terrace dynamics or crescendos throughout that long passage, so that it's not just sequence after sequence. And then again, thinking half bar or full bar would help so that it doesn't feel stuck throughout that. Can you play that slowly, starting on the piano, the G? Sorry, I did not do the right articulations, but starting on that G. Good. So, what do we have here? Like the first 4 bars, what's going on sequence wise?
It's just transposing that same digit down to the step.
Yeah. So maybe I would start a little bit louder than piano. Give yourself room on that descending sequence to do dynamically less each time. And then these next 3 bars, or 4 bars, it's kind of building back up again. We get the higher, we get the G, high Gs again, we get the A. So it's building in intensity. So it's kind of one big that to me, or that. Can you play that whole phrase starting on the piano G, or let's call it mezzo piano plus, and give me some more shape throughout that whole sequence. Yeah, good. That feels more organic to me, like it's going somewhere, and not just, again, like sequence. Great. So then this was the other place, and sorry, I know we've got to wrap up soon. I'm a big talker. but there's so much good stuff going on. I just want to make sure it gets even better. So this place where you just stopped was another place where the beat got confused to me. It sounded like it was all of a sudden 16ths at a slower tempo. And I lost the sway of the triplets. So I need more of the sway. And I think that can be done by, again, once you take the breath and start over again, lead to the second beat and give a little bit of a pulsation there just so we know where we are. Sorry, third beat. The C sharp. Start the bar before. Or actually, do the line before that so we can get the breath. Good, good, very good. How did that feel?
That felt good. Yeah, I think given the C sharp, moving that spot in that
Yeah. So, and like I said before, it's, I mean, you were doing what was on the page, but you know, for the people out in the audience, they can't see that, so they need to have some sense of where they are. And music is for the ear, not the eye. I actually have that written in one of my Milde studies. I believe it was Matthew Rogero that wrote that. So I always try to, yeah, for the ear. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Yeah, so I always try to, oh, and you can see exactly which etude it was over. It was G major Milde with the weird articulations. Um, so yeah, it's all about conveying the musical shape, the musical line, regardless of how it looks on the page. What makes sense to the ear, based on the harmony, um, and based on the rhythm, and making sure that that comes across. Um, did you have any questions about any of that? Okay, yeah, and that's just one way of doing that sequence. It makes sense to me. Generally, it's kind of a cheat code, you know. If the sequence goes down, I get softer. If it goes up, I get louder. Um, so there are other ways to do it. I just think that one is the most obvious. Um, yeah, great. Sounds really. What year are you at Colburn again?
I just finished my freshman year.
Oh, okay, I thought you were older for some reason. Huh. Well, tell Mr. Bean I said hello. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Andrew, would you like to get some questions then?
Sure.
Okay. So we just have a couple. I'm going to do this. Okay. So let's see. I'll pull up the first question, which is, when did you first know you wanted to play bassoon?
Seventh grade. I started on saxophone in sixth grade. Played it for sixth and seventh. I switched down to Barry saxophone. So I always kind of, kind of had an affinity for lower instruments. So I switched to baritone saxophone in seventh grade. And then around that point, I really got into orchestral music, and I figured, well, saxophone is not going to get me there. And also, I just wanted a little bit more of a challenge. So I switched to bassoon in eighth grade, and mainly just because of how it looked.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I was sitting behind a bassoonist at this. Sorry, Kat is trying to say hello.
Aw.
Yeah, this is Cece.
Aw, hi Cece. Aw.
Yeah, but I saw a bassoonist sitting in front of me at a band clinic, and I was like, that looks so cool. I want to play it. So yeah, that's when I knew I wanted to play bassoon.
Wow, okay. So our next two questions are kind of on a similar vein. What reeds do you make and how do you schedule your reed making schedule? And then also tell us about the scrape on your reed. I'm assuming by what reeds do you make, maybe like what style of reeds do you make or something?
Yeah, maybe
Shape.
like parallel versus wedge or something.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so I'm kind of in a flux right now. I think I found something that works. But I recently switched bassoons
Hmm.
this season. So I was playing on a Heckel 6000 late six, practically seven. Then I sold it and I got this, which is an 8, and it's quite different. The 6
Hmm.
was very dark, had a lot of density and body and warmth and darkness to it. The 8 is quite different. It's very open, ringing, kind of pingy, and it's been a challenge to kind of filter that, still get the best qualities of it, but also get the warmth and the depth that I'm looking for. All of that to say, I have switched from Knockenhauer style reed or shape reeds. Now I'm playing on Fox 2, and I think just that little bit more bit of sorry, um, that bit more width really helps with adding a little bit of breadth to the sound. Um, Also, I experimented actually with their teacher was in town, and we had a little geek session, Karen and I, and she left me a couple of her reads. And playing in a symphony every week, um, having to learn new rep, it's hard to keep up with everything, and so sometimes we kind of take easy routes. And so I was using a tip profiler on my reads. And it was fine, but I wasn't really getting the sound that I wanted. And so when Karen left reads for me, I realized that there was much more meat at the tip, more cane. And I was liking the sound I was getting. So I stopped using the tip profiler. I put the tip in my hand, and it worked so much better. I get my cane from Barton.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and they're so great because when I was trying shapes, I could just order all kinds of different shapes and figure out what worked best. And luckily, the Fox was one of the first ones I tried, Fox 2, and it just seemed to fit this instrument and my playing style pretty well. And then also I was pretty influenced by George Sakakini and his reed manual.
Hmm.
So I've been experimenting with those principles that he sets out, and not doing exactly everything the same way, but a lot of what he sets out in his book is working for me. So,
Yeah, wonderful.
answer the question?
Yeah, I think so. Cool. And just on the vein of Barton Cane, which is our sponsor, I actually just got some Barton Cane in the mail. So I have some.
Some on my desk right
Yes.
here.
So I have some. Let's see. I have Hertzberg shape, and I have Donati, Donzi, and I tried some Lavoro too. So I'm gonna be forming some blanks tomorrow.
Yeah, I just got some Lavoro as well. I'd never tried it before,
Hmm.
but one of my section mates said that Lavoro was good, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, and Barton Cane, they have great service. Of course, they respond to emails really fast. They're so generous enough to help sponsor the stream. So
Yeah,
if you're ever in need of some GSP cane, check them out, please.
definitely.
Okay, thank you so much, Andrew. Do you have anything you would like to say for the end of the stream?
Not really. Just thanks so much for having me, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where these go. And bravo to you for
No.
having this, having this idea and
Yeah.
initiative to make it happen. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Great.
look forward to seeing how it progresses.
Yeah, me too. I want to thank you so much for, of course, donating your time for this. Thank you to Jordan too, who was very gracious enough to lend us his playing, kind of as a guinea pig almost. Um, and I want to thank our audience for kind of bearing with the technical difficulties. And there will be many more to come. I will make announcements for next week very soon. So thank you all very much, and I will see you guys soon.